It is Sunday, December 2020. I'm Lights Camera Jackson. Welcome to LCJ Live. Happy holidays! Christmas is almost here. The final 12 days of 2020. Can you believe it? We're almost there, folks. Almost there to 2021. I've got Minnie and Mickey here. We're ringing in the new year almost and the holidays and getting in that holiday spirit. A lot of movies to talk about, new in theaters, new at home. As always, send in your questions and your comments. What have you seen? Did you watch anything at home over the weekend? Ma Rainey's Black Bottom on Netflix. Greenland with Gerard Butler on VOD. I wonder how that would have done in theaters. I have a suspicion that if it opened in theaters this past weekend, it might have been the number one movie in America. Instead, your number one film is Monster Hunter with $2.2 million, but The Croods: A New Age, which went to VOD on Friday, right behind with a theatrical weekend gross of $2 million. I could see the flip-flop happening when the actuals are released tomorrow. So Sony should not be celebrating yet. Sony shouldn't really be celebrating at all because $2.2 million is not a lot of money considering other films that have opened in the last 3 months. But they should not be celebrating yet. They do not have a guaranteed number one movie. Monster Hunter right now 2.2, The Croods with 2. Other money will slowly be coming in. We'll see how Fatale did with Hilary Swank and Michael Ealy. That is a crazy movie. I watched that a couple weeks ago. If you want my take on that, go to toofast2films.com. New podcast episode with my co-host Mike Sargent. We review Fatale along with Ma Rainey's Black Bottom, so check that out on the website. That is a wild movie. Monster Hunter, also a wild movie in different respects. Not a fan of that film. Greenland, another wild movie. I enjoyed Greenland. If you want my reviews of Greenland and Monster Hunter, go to lights-camera-jackson.com. When you're there on the website, you'll also find my rapid review of The Midnight Sky with George Clooney, which is on Netflix this Wednesday. New rapid review tomorrow of Sylvie's Love, which is a new romance film with Tessa Thompson and Nnamdi Asomugha, former NFL player. That's on Prime Video on Wednesday. New LCJ Q&A podcast episode tomorrow with Madeline Sharafian, the director of the brand new Pixar animated short film Burrow that is going to be on Disney Plus this Friday, Christmas Day with Soul. I talked with Maddie about Burrow as well as working on Onward and the upcoming Pixar movie Turning Red. So check out that podcast episode tomorrow. AnimationScoop.com will also have that Q&A tomorrow. Later this week at AnimationScoop.com, Q&A with the directors of this new Netflix animated short film. It's going to get a lot of attention over the next several months. Cops and Robbers. Arnon Manor, who also works for Sony Pictures in some of their visual departments and things like that, talking about the year that has been unprecedented when it comes to motion picture movie making. And Timothy Warehale, an actor who performs in this short Cops and Robbers, and then all these animation people from all over the globe contributed their time to making portions of this very important animated short film that will be on Netflix next Monday, December 28th. So Animation Scoop Q&A with those guys is later this week as well. For Too Fast, Two Films coming up, we're going to review a movie and do our favorite Christmas movies as well. I'm going to do some Christmas-related segments and things. And of course, ladies and gentlemen, the brand new 12 Days of Christmas is coming Friday. I hope you're excited for it. I am excited for it as well, to share it with all of you. Brand new 12 Days of Christmas on Friday. The gift that keeps on giving, of course, coming at you on Friday. A lot of new movies opening up in theaters and at home on Friday. You've got Soul on Disney+. How would Soul have done in theaters if Disney decided to put it out? We'll never know. Maybe they'll re-release it in theaters in about a year. Maybe they actually will, just to see if anybody would want to go to the theater. Is it worth it? I don't know. But Soul, I talked with Pete Docter. I talked with many of the makers of the Pixar feature. Jamie Foxx, Tina Fey, nominated for Critics' Choice Voice Acting Awards. The film is up for the Critics' Choice Award for Best Animated Feature. We will find out if it wins on January 10th at 8 o'clock on the CW. New Tom Hanks movie in theaters this Friday, News of the World. I have seen News of the World. Here's the thing. I liked Greyhound, which came out this summer. And Tom Hanks gives a solid performance in that. It's a very short film. It's 80 minutes plus credits. But I didn't think it was one of Tom Hanks' great performances even of the past 10 years. News of the World, I was thinking, is this the one that maybe gets him a Best Actor nomination again this award season? And maybe it will, but I don't know. I prefer him in Greyhound, believe it or not. This movie's got some issues to it. pacing issues, story issues, dialogue issues, but there is a great shootout sequence. Entertainment Weekly posted a piece yesterday on the best scenes of the year and sequences of the year, and they put this shootout in there, and I agree with them on this. It is the one portion of the film where Paul Greengrass really gets to be clever with how he uses the camera and plays with the camera and characters and angles, and that is the most immersive scene in the entire film. If you go see News of the World, be on the lookout for this shootout, which is sort of early in the movie. The standout scene of that movie, one of my, I'd say 20 favorite scenes of the year, maybe. Otherwise, kind of disappointed by News of the World. What's up, Margarita Lady 65? Thanks for being here on LCJ Live. Wonder Woman 1984, which is going to be in theaters and on HBO Max on Friday. How will it do in theaters versus how many people watch it on HBO Max? That'll be some big questions. We'll see if Warner Brothers has the answers to those next Sunday when we're back here on LCJ Live. Another movie that I've seen that's opening in theaters on Friday is Promising Young Woman. This stars Kerry Mulligan, as well as Bo Burnham, the writer-director of 8th Grade, who I interviewed a couple years ago, met at the Critics' Choice Awards. Very nice guy, so cool to chat with him. And he's got a big role in this, and a role that will get a lot of attention. Particularly, there's a sequence in a pharmacy, which I also think was on that Entertainment Weekly Best Scenes of the Year list, that a lot of people remember for a long time. Kerry Mulligan, could this be a performance that gets her back to the Oscars where she was for An Education more than a decade ago? Maybe. We'll have to see. It's a tough movie to talk about without spoiling key elements. So all I will say is go in with an open mind if you're going to go see Promising Young Woman. Try not to watch any trailers, clips, don't read reviews, and just experience it for yourself and see what you think of it. But certainly a different kind of role for Kerry Mulligan than what we've seen her in. We've seen her in a lot of roles over the years that are kind of stoic and prim and proper, and this is a little bit different. And so how you watch Kerry Mulligan and what you think of her will probably determine what you think of the overall film. But that is Promising Young Woman, which is in theaters. Also the Midnight Sky Wednesday and Sylvie's Love Wednesday for at-home viewing. Closing in on the end of 2020, I have just a couple films left to see for the year. By the way, there is a new Pinocchio movie with Roberto Benigni that is coming out in theaters on Friday as well. To my knowledge, critics are not receiving it in advance, so that is not a good sign. But Pinocchio is being released in theaters around the country starting Friday with Academy Award winner Roberto Benigni. You look up his Oscar acceptance speeches for Life is Beautiful. All-time iconic Academy Awards moments. Here in upstate New York in the Capital Region, when movie theaters were allowed to reopen on October the 23rd, we had some of them open up, and some of them decided not to. And then some of them closed. The Regals closed again, even after just a couple of weeks. But we've had the Scotia Cinema and the Madison Theater do very well here in the last 2 months. And now, just the other day, 2 Bowtie Cinemas locations finally reopened, one in Schenectady and one in Saratoga. And you're probably thinking, why now? And I think it's because they want the Christmas money. They're going to get Wonder Woman, News of the World, Promising Young Woman. They've got some of these other ones right now. They've even got Tenet still in theaters, which even though it's on DVD, they want to make some money. They really want to make some money over the holidays and see how they do. So they are open here now in the Capital Region. The question is, are the Regals going to reopen? When are the Regals going to reopen? March 12 was the last time I went to a Regal movie theater here in the state of New York. Last time I've been to an indoor movie theater in the state of New York was March 12, and we're not that far away from another March 12. These locations are going to be closed, some of them, for a whole year or more. It's unbelievable. Unprecedented, I think, was deemed the word of the year the other day. It is unprecedented. It is unbelievable. Andrag56, and then a bunch of numbers afterwards. Thanks for being here on LCJ Live as we count down to Christmas and some of the big new movies and opening up and what you can watch at home. Amazon Prime Video, HBO Max. If you haven't checked out Sound of Metal on Prime Video, highly recommend it. If you haven't checked out Let Them All Talk on HBO Max, highly recommend it. I will have my 10 best movies of the year list about a week from now, and I'm putting it together. I have seen close to 230 new movies in 2020, which is an all-time record for me, and just crazy that many films have been released this year. Most of them semi-major releases, some smaller films, some documentary films, but a lot of them with big names, big stories, big impact. It has been quite a year, and so I got to take 230 and pick out the top 10. And it's gonna be maybe a little tougher than usual because there have been more films to choose from. Wonder Woman 1984 I have not seen yet. Hope to check it out this week. Warner Brothers putting it out to some people at certain times and figuring those things out, and it'll be in theaters and HBO Max as well. Hope to be able to check it out this week. 230 films. It has been quite a year, and hopefully you're staying safe and positive and healthy, and you keep watching new movies and shows. Support the theaters if you can. Support the drive-ins if you're if you're in a place where drive-ins are still open in the country. I am not. It is. We got 2.5 feet of snow the other day here in upstate New York. It was wild to come down in a 10-hour period to get close to 2.5 feet of snow. It's unlike anything I've seen in my lifetime. I've seen some major snowstorms and some ice storms and snow that has accumulated over a longer period of time. But to have 2 or 3 inches per hour, that is something. That really is. And so we experienced that here. But the theaters stayed open. The indoor theaters stayed open. And they will continue to stay open for as long as they can through the holidays here. What are you looking forward to about Christmas and the holidays? You watching holiday specials? ABC airs The Sound of Music every year. That's on tonight at 7 o'clock. Then The Greatest Showman will be premiering on Christmas Eve night, 8 o'clock on ABC. I really thought that This Is Me was going to win the Best Original Song Academy Award, but they gave it to the Coco song a couple years ago. I really thought This Is Me had the momentum, and I think that song has lasted a little bit more than Remember Me has, though Remember Me has still been popular over the last couple of years. Hugh Jackman got a Golden Globe nomination for The Greatest Showman. The film was up for Best Picture, Comedy Musical, and the song This Is Me won the Golden Globe. The film was screened for most of the members of the Hollywood Foreign Press Association while the movie was still being edited. I remember talking with a couple PR people and saying, hey, we couldn't get Greatest Showman in time for Critics' Choice voting, what's going on? And they said, well, we showed a rough version to the Hollywood Foreign Press. But the movie was still being worked on. And usually when that's the case, it's not a good sign. But I like The Greatest Showman a lot. I think the music has lasted really well. And Hugh Jackman with that, and Logan, quite a 2017 for him. So now people, if you missed it in theaters 3 years ago, you get to check it out on ABC on Christmas Eve night. Animated holiday specials. The Prep and Landings are airing again this week. The Grinch is airing again this week. Grandma Got Run Over by a Reindeer. And Olaf was the other night. Shrek the Halls was the other night. Rounding out our animated holiday specials for 2020 with no Charlie Brown on ABC, but Charlie Brown doing well on PBS with the Thanksgiving and Christmas specials. So nice that Apple was able to strike a deal with PBS to be able to show these, because some people just want to watch the TV airings. I was talking with somebody a couple months ago, and it's like, yeah, we got all these movies on DVD, these holiday specials, but when they're on TV, we all gather around and we watch it. Even with the commercials in between, we sit down and we watch them. That's how significant those are to some people still. That is appointment television. Appointment television, an old-fashioned phrase that's rarely used these days for anything other than sports and award shows and live events like the Ball Drop, which will be next week on ABC. But those holiday specials are appointment television. Are you upset about Lizzie McGuire? Yes, Bob Hall. I'm not surprised. They had so many issues behind the scenes, things that were leaked to the media with where to take the character. Was it going to Hulu instead? The adult situations on a Disney Plus show, but now Disney Plus has this Star feature they're going to introduce, which is more adult content. But the creative vision just wasn't there. Filming the episodes and then people coming in and saying, wait a minute, we didn't approve this, or we shouldn't have approved this. After the fact, it seemed like a mess. The whole thing seemed like a mess as it was playing out. So I'm not surprised that the Lizzie McGuire reboot has been pulled from Disney Plus and production has stopped officially and will not continue. Am I disappointed? It would have been nice to see Lizzie McGuire 2.0, but, let the character be. And if it's not going to be as good as what it was in the past, then why bother? You know, that show was so iconic for a generation. That movie so iconic for a generation. And what Hilary Duff's been doing with Younger over the last 6-7 years is kind of, it's not exactly taking Lizzie McGuire and making her older, but it's her older settings, hipster, millennial settings, and so it's a more grown-up Hilary Duff, so we've already seen that now in Younger, so do we need to see it again in Lizzie McGuire? I think it's fine, and Disney Plus now is going to survive. I remember when Disney Plus, one of the main things about it to sell people on having Disney Plus was this Lizzie McGuire reboot. When all the press days were happening and the news was coming, it was like, one of the things you'll get these original movies like this new Lady and the Tramp and other things coming, but this Lizzie McGuire reboot, this is one of the reasons why you have to have it. Now, Mandalorian, all the Star Wars shows, all the Marvel shows, and a Pixar movie is debuting on Disney Plus on Friday because of what's happened with COVID. And they're going to continue to put Pixar content, Disney animation content, special content, behind the scenes, documentary series, more Star Wars, more Mandalorian, more Marvel shows, this Loki show, and WandaVision, and Falcon Winter Soldier, and they're just going to keep going and going and going. Holiday specials. Those are enough for people to get Disney Plus. I remember talking with some people who were like, yeah, I don't know why I have Disney Plus, because I care about The Mandalorian. I don't really need all the other stuff. I don't need the old cartoons, the old movies and all that. But now with all this other stuff, Disney Plus is something worth having and may surpass Netflix. I would not be surprised, because the parents want the kids to have all the Disney content, and then there's all the Marvel and Star Wars fans and the animation fans who are going to want this and need this. So Disney Plus will thrive. They will continue to thrive. It will be bigger than Netflix, and they're going to do really well for the next several years. I hope you all have a safe, Merry Christmas. And we'll be back here next Sunday at 12 p.m. Eastern for our 2020 wrap-up show. It's almost over. Yes! And I hope you stay safe and positive and healthy and stay joyous during these difficult times. These are very difficult times for all of us in so many different ways. And I hope that somebody reaches out to you and makes you smile and makes you happy over these next few days, with a message or a phone call or a Zoom or a gift via UPS, FedEx, mail, something. I hope that happens. Watching this documentary, Dear Santa, which is on VOD and I highly recommend, they talk about everybody pitching in to get gifts for people, not just who are poor, but those who are looking for somebody to remember them over the holidays and to just feel necessary and worthy. So that I hope that you take that to heart and you reach out to some people this week, especially if you're stuck at home or you need to be at home for safety reasons. Reach out to somebody. Make them happy over these holidays. I'll see you back here next Sunday at 12 p.m. Eastern for LCJ Live. Take care. Enjoy the holiday. Bye-bye.